Okay, so today's meeting is being streamed live on the Township of Ramara's YouTube channel. To those present in the gallery today, by attending a public meeting of the Ramara Trails Committee, you are consenting to your image, voice, and comments being recorded. Anyone who is invited to speak will be recorded, and their voice, image, and comments will form part of the live stream. The chair, secretary, and/or director of infrastructure have the discretion and authority at any time to direct the termination or interruption of the live streaming. Such direction will only be given in exceptional circumstances where deemed relevant. Circumstances may include instances where the content of debate is considered misleading, defamatory, or potentially inappropriate to be published. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal actions if their actions result in appropriate and/or unacceptable behavior and/or comments. I will now pass the meeting to the chair. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannah. Kathy, since Kathy has to leave early, we're going to move right along to item number, the grants application. The support staff AD 10-24. So if you would like to begin.
Yep, so the 2024 Connecting Communities grant, that is from the County of Simcoe, just opened up and it closes on Friday. So I provided a report to kind of go through what has changed with the grant, because there has been quite a few changes. So they're looking at a 3-tier system. So for the 1 tier, it's a maximum of $100,000 and it goes towards major capital projects, such as create new facilities or refurbish major infrastructure, let's say like bridge replacements, trail road alignments, parks and recreation master plans, so on and so forth. No maintenance can be a part of that. So it's just actually creating, let's say, those trails is the big thing for that one. The next one is the 50,000, so up to 50,000. And so that is looking at connecting different trails within each community. So maybe it's minor in nature. So when you think of, let's say there was Shaco Trail and what we did up there, that could have been maybe something we could have looked at under or that 50,000, because it was still connecting, but it wasn't as grand as some of the other ones we've done. And then the 3rd tier is a maximum of 15,000. And for that one, that looks more into maintenance of those trails. So this is still a grant where the municipality has to match. So if we say we want to apply up to $100,000, the municipality has to provide that $100,000 for that matching grant, okay? So keep that into consideration. Another big point is that our 2023 application, which is for that Ramara Road section, that has to be complete before we start this, the 2024. So there's 2 things we can do. So we could cancel our 2023 grant and say, you know what, maybe that's something that we need to continue speaking with the County of Simcoe on what kind of financials they can provide for that grant. So we could cancel that, apply for the 2024 for initiative that we want and start undertaking that, whether that's this year or even in 2025. Or we could keep that, but then having something maybe very small for the 2024 grant, but we have to get that 2023 one done beforehand, and it has to be done by November of this year.
So on the 2023 one, can you be specific on what that was? You said Ramara Road. What
yes,
part
it was
of
the Ramara Trail. Remember how we wanted to
the resurfacing of Ramara Road?
Right, but wasn't that, are you talking from Longford up to the
Yes.
leadership camp? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
That's what that grant was for. But one of the discussions that we've had in the Trails Committee is going to the County of Simcoe to see what financials they can provide for that. And that
And
one,
Rama was part of it. Now I talked to Zach and he said he hasn't had a chance to speak to Rama, but that should be on the agenda too.
yes, but that one has to be done by this year. But that's something we haven't have in the budget for this year. The one that we have in the budget for this year is the trail that goes from Casino Rama to Airport Road is the one that we're going forward with Rama that we got the TCT grant for.
Oh, we did get it.
Yes.
Okay.
So the one I'm speaking about is right off Ramara Road, that trail that we have on the side of the road.
So we don't have the budget to do that.
Right? As far as I know, we don't have that budget.
Just a question.
Yep.
I thought, looking back to last summer, I thought that money from that grant was going to do side road 15,
Nope, that was an earlier grant that did side road 15.
really?
Yes,
So we're that far behind.
we were that far behind, so we have had to ask for extensions.
Yes,
So, yes. So right now, the last year when we met here as a Trails Committee, the committee decided to apply for that grant for that trail right beside Rammer Road to do refurbishing that part of that trail.
okay, so is there a possibility that the money that was assigned to Rammer Road, if the committee decided that Simcoe County might allow us to move that to something else? Instead of putting that money toward Rammer Road, because not, I mean, we said that Rammer Road was shovel ready.
Yeah.
Okay. And which it is.
Mhm.
Is there something else? Because we haven't negotiated yet with Simcoe County, there's things that have to happen. Is there anything else that we might want to use that money for?
Gotta remember though, it's a matching fund, so do you have a matching fund to pay for something else?
So we're almost better off to cancel that 2023 application and reapply for something new. Because in our current budget, we don't have spare funds really to match whatever that was $30,000, so we need to match 30,000. Or at the county
So
Or could we go back to, sorry, Larry, could we go back to council and ask
for an additional 30. Good.
and finish that? But then we still need to know what Simcoe's contribution is, and what Ram's contribution is.
Yeah, so is it a time that maybe right now it doesn't work, or?
I just hate to lose,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
That's what really bothers me. When
It's lost, but it's not lost because you can reapply. Yes, it's allotted to us, but you have to match it, so. Like even if we were to get 10 from county, 10 from Ram, we'd still have to come up with 10.
Well, that's fine, that sounds like a great plan. Then we'd only have to go to this council for 10.
Yeah.
One of the things that I don't like is we have not reached out to Rama, and we should have by now. This was brought up months ago.
Yeah.
And so I would suggest that maybe, if we can do it somehow in the next week, we approach Simcoe and we approach Ram and say, are you interested? We've got an opportunity to do this. We're gonna lose the grant.
Yeah.
We don't have the 30, we've got 10.
Mhm.
And would Rama and Simcoe come in on that and to finish that thing? And the whole idea is you're gonna connect Longford and Rama to all the new activities that are going up at the loop.
Well, it's already connected though, so it's just resurfacing the trip.
Yes, but it's getting to the point where
Yeah.
it's rough.
Yeah.
So certainly, I mean, that is shovel ready and that it can go to tender, except we don't have the financing because we haven't done that. So, I don't understand why we can't. I mean, we have been talking about going to Simcoe County for a number of meetings. And it's not happening. So there must be a better way of getting that to happen. Like, could it become a responsibility of the Trails Committee and council staff and municipal staff to have a meeting? Like Josh and I and our councilors with Simcoe County. It seems like we can't get, well, we couldn't get the CEO to do it, we couldn't get the mayor to do it, we couldn't, in time, like things, it's kind of frustrating.
Yeah,
Not to be able to move things like that forward and have those decisions in place.
Well, I think someone could pick up the phone tomorrow and phone Evelyn and ask if she's even interested with everything else. And if she says no, then we go to Simcoe and we say, are you interested in splitting it 15-15? But we can probably
So again, Simcoe County is already paying part of this, so just be aware of that,
Why?
because the grant is paying 30,000, it's a Simcoe County grant.
Oh, it's a Simcoe County grant.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's a whole different story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea was to see if we could draw from the money that they had set aside for the rail trail.
Yeah.
Okay, so back that off then. Now we just need to go to Rama and say, are you interested in splitting this? And if not, we go to council and we end it.
I
It's
mean,
either,
you never know if they might have funding similar to the roads transfer, right? If they've got that kind of thing just sitting there for trails, so that's worth asking.
We could do that.
okay,
And I mean, Simcoe County, they might come up with a little bit more money too. I mean, they know that we're working hard trying to get this work done and have been for a long time.
Yep.
And we're way behind.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm always in favor of asking, and trying to negotiate more.
Especially since it's all in county.
Yeah, yeah.
the problem is when you get on any project and you come into things that are in your control, by the time you get those things in control, the project's way behind. So, I mean, I just can't imagine Simcoe County. Because it's their grant, it's a different story. So they're saying, well, we're already matching it. We're already giving you 30. Where's the other 30? So I would leave county out of it and just go to Rama and see if we can get 15. Go to council and get approval for $15,000 to not miss out on this. And so it's, how much was it again we can spend?
It was up to 60,000.
And is that enough to finish the project?
I'm just trying to find the points for this.
Yeah, we're roughly about 1.47 kilometers. 1.47.
Dane, if that came to council, I don't wanna put you on the spot, would you vote?
I would support that, yeah, because I figure the sooner we can get that stretch done, then we can also focus on the part going to.
So would I, so we just need,
Yeah,
you know, it's two. And the only reason I wouldn't approve it, if Zach shows me that we're way behind budget for this year, because you gotta be fiscally
Yeah.
responsible.
We also have some other things that are pending. That I don't think I'm going to talk about at this meeting. But I guess that's not shovel ready, so.
No, this was, the reason we did this was because we wanted shovel-ready projects, so when grants came up, we could take advantage of it. The only question I have is at 15 or 30, we either split it with Rama or we go alone. One way we go back to council and ask for either 15 or 30, and the next meeting's on the 27th of May, and we can have this all done by then. It's
Okay.
1 or 2 phone calls to Evelyn and
We
Williams.
could keep proceeding, and then we could think about our 2024 application as the biggest thing for today, because we need to get that in. And so there is a couple ideas.
Oh, sorry, I just want to cut. Would it help, Dana, because you've got a great relationship with the chief? Would it help if you gave him a phone call and say, I wanted to discuss something with you and you guys maybe drove it? I mean,
yeah.
and then just say, we're gonna be contacting Evelyn. And if the chief says, yeah, I'll support you, we're a long ways there. How much money do they have to put up to do the casino parking lot? Or are we paying for all of that?
We're paying for it, but they were gonna give a break on the construction possibly.
Okay, well, maybe they even want to do the construction on this trail.
So the 2023 pricing from Longford to Quarry Point, low bid was $83,000. Including taxes.
So do you think the,
So 60 won't even go.
Yeah,
And
And
that's
then-
well, we just stop, when we finish it the next year.
yeah, just do a little section.
Yeah, just finish it the next year. You just don't go as far as Quarry Point, you go up to whatever the street is before that.
But
And I don't think Quarry Point,
it's hard to tender that way. So basically, you can tender saying this is our ceiling amount. Because we don't want to go over $60,000. But then people know how much you're willing to spend.
Yeah.
Quarry Point. It's past Quarry Point.
We did Longford to Quarry Point. That was the area we talked about.
Okay, so it's not going all the way to Leadership Camp.
No.
Okay, so that,
Unless we come from leadership out. Cause then you might get interest from him that way.
I think it makes.
Yeah,
a lot of sense.
sorry, it's Kathy. That would be my recommendation, is to go from Quaid and Key, which is the name of the property, not Leadership Camp. And then that would give them, I think, a stronger access to their property versus starting from the other point.
that'd be fine.
Yeah, I think especially since that facility is, being used or proposed to being used as an educational one, I think it makes a lot of sense if you're thinking again about kids getting there to have that.
So let's leave it this way. Immediately after this meeting, Dana and I, or just Dana, whatever you prefer, will call Ted Williams and say, we've got a project in mind, just want to run by and get some thoughts from you. And we've got 50% of the funding lined up. And you know what? If he says no, it's not the end of the project. We'll come to council and ask for the whole thing. And see what happens. You okay with that, Larry?
Just to put, Josh, do you think that you can manage the posting this way
The,
for the work? Because there isn't enough money to do the whole thing, is there? That's what we're saying.
No, but we get out of it.
Okay.
so we'd have to change the scope essentially to match what money's available.
Okay.
So I'd have to do some estimation to figure where and how far we can get. It should be fairly close. But yeah, like I don't, it'd be contractors doing it, it wouldn't be township staff.
That would be doing the posting?
Dana,
No, they'd be doing the work.
make a note that it might be work for
Yeah.
First Nations too.
Right.
Yeah, we say, you can do it, maybe they can get the cost down.
Yeah.
It's a very simple, you need material and you need a couple machines and the rest is just, there's no.
Yeah, there's not a
Really?
lot to it.
I
Engineering.
think we can get the screenings donated. I've never been turned. I've just stopped asking.
Why?
Well, it just seems complicated now.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we can get them donated. Save us money in the past.
And who did it before?
I've always got from the fall.
Okay.
But I mean,
Is there any protocol that we would have to go through before we reached out to Lafarge?
I can't tender it.
What?
I can't tender it if we're asking for donations.
Well, I'm just saying, is someone allowed to pick up the phone and phone our contact at Lafarge and say, what is the chances of getting this donated?
in the past, Josh.
Or would you just get them to tender and they might come back and say 0?
Well, it wouldn't be Lafarge putting the tender in, Lafarge would be a material supplier.
Oh, I see, okay.
In the past, in the tender, it indicated how many cubic meters
Mhm.
of each material
Mhm.
and what the cost of that. would be.
Yeah, so the contractor calls the supplier.
I
that gets priced.
always rent myself.
But if we're tendering.
Yeah, so
the
they
contract-
priced it out with all of that material. Then we said to the contractor, we're supplying the screenings, you just supply the truck.
Supplier's gonna wanna be-
But that's
Yeah,
that's how
that's,
it worked before, but I don't, you're certainly.
Who is the contact at Lafarge?
program.
Grant, yeah.
And do you know him?
Grant.
Can you pick up the phone and just phone him and say, hey, listen, got this crazy idea, don't know if you're interested or not.
It goes against our purchasing policy.
Ah, okay.
Guys, Kathy has a question too.
We've been saying it goes against our purchasing.
Well, that's what I wanna know, that's all.
Yeah.
So how would we, if you wanna do what Larry's suggesting, and get a donation, how would we do that, or we
I
can't?
don't know, I can't.
You could.
I physically can't. The township can.
So if Larry reached out for him, would that be ethical for Larry to reach out?
He's still a part of the township.
He's,
trust committee.
yeah, he's on the committee.
So I can talk to
Can I
our
reserve?
treasurer. I don't know.
No, cause I'm not in favor of it.
In the past, we've kind of just looked the other way.
I'm not in favor of it because I don't want that relationship with Boris, but
No.
if Larry's got
Yeah.
a suggestion, so I'm just trying to pursue it.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, this is a trail that's already in existence, this would just be upgrading it.
The problem is the grass is growing through it and it probably has to be a little wider.
Yeah, there'll be a little bit of clearing and grubbing.
Okay.
And grading and, you know.
Have you not
Sorry
walked
to
it?
interrupt. Kathy has a question.
We can walk
Sorry,
it.
Kathy.
Thanks, Hannah. It's actually a comment. I appreciate the relationship that people have with Chief Williams, but the reality is Chief cannot make that decision on his own, and Evelyn would be the one that would be executing this. So I think at least it's a call to both of them to see if it fits within Evelyn's plans, and then to do a temperature check with the chief, but the chief would have to take it to chief and council through Evelyn. So just wanted to make that point so that we're not wasting too much relationship time with the chief when we really do need to talk to Evelyn.
Well, one of the things that's what we originally planned. The problem is it hasn't happened and it's been quite some time. I don't know why it hasn't happened. I'm just trying to figure out how to speed it up. Because originally the CAOs used to get together on a regular basis, I understood. Is that true? Or he meets with her once a month?
I don't know the time frame, but they meet often.
And it hasn't been discussed. So that's why we're just trying to push it ahead. But I don't know, maybe if you, I have no idea.
Well,
You give
I
up.
don't know, maybe is it worth, contacting Zach and saying, hey, Zach, in your last few days of cleaning house, let's get this done. And me and Zach, I'd be trying to let me, you know what I mean, not cleaning house.
Covering stuff up.
No, you know what I mean.
Well,
Care
we can do that. We can immediately after this meeting, we can walk in, see Zach.
Yeah.
And see if he'll make that one phone call and say, Evelyn, I'm leaving before I go. There was one thing on my list. So
Yeah.
let's take your approach then and,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, no, we can try, see what goes.
Or they might even want to do the work and not contribute financially. They might just want to contribute some.
Yeah.
You finish it, we'll give you the 30,000.
And that's kind of the agreement we have essentially with the casino trail.
Yeah.
Not an agreement, but that's what we've discussed.
Okay, so we got all this written down, what our final decision is here?
And
All right.
if they were doing in lieu of money, then we might just be able to work through them.
But
They
we
could-
still need to match whatever we spend.
Yes.
So. So it would still be going to council to get something. So I'd be hesitant to make promises with them until we know we have money secured.
Okay.
It's hard to secure the money when you don't know how much you're asking for.
No, I know.
So just in summary then. Do we know how much we want to ask for? Josh,
Well, if we're asking for 50-50, it'd be 15.
15. Okay, it's because we have $60,000. We have $30,000 that we can match.
We need a total of 30 that we match the 30.
Yes.
So if you're looking to go 50-50, it'd be 50 or, yeah, 15-50. It's 15 from the township, 15.
And what's in our budget for this year?
0 for this
What?
project.
For this project, and where's our 30 going this year?
It was to the casino trail.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
Yeah, we had nothing for like,
This grant we didn't apply for the casino trail. Because you can't have multiple projects on the.
yeah, because 2023, last year's project, which was due this year, was for that trail in Ramara. Now we have to think about what we want to do for 2024.
But the $30,000 we're talking about is from last year,
Yes,
right? That we're gonna lose if we don't spend.
I guess you're technically like losing the county of Simcoe, but you're not really losing anything because this year we didn't have enough money in the budget to have that extra $30,000.
So theoretically, going by budget this year, that project's already been canceled because
Yes,
if we had the money budgeted for last year, the 30, it doesn't carry over. You have to rebudget it. So it was rebudgeted, But because of the state of finances, it was cut.
So it wasn't put in reserve. See, we never knew that. I never knew that. Did you know that?
No, it would have had a big budget for this year, would have had a big budget for the 2024 budget, because 2023, we applied for it, right after budget time, we applied for it. So this year, when they were doing the budget, that 30 would have been added, but it was cut because we didn't have.
And then the 30 that was budgeted for last year went towards the side of 15 to cover that.
That's right, and we've used,
The township portion. So our matching money for the 30,000 was used for the cyber 50.
Let me put it another way, so Larry,
No, just a minute. So why didn't we use matching money instead of using all of our 30?
Because it couldn't be reapplied. You'd have to change your project.
Which we've done before.
I think what Larry's asking, have we ever, the $30,000 that we budget every year, since I've been here, 6 years.
Yeah.
Have we ever not spent that and lost that money? That's what Larry's
On
asking.
the township side,
Yeah. We've never,
it's always been applied to something.
right, so I think Larry's thinking that we just lost it because we didn't use it, and it went, what was the word you said a minute ago?
Well, we're about to lose the Simcoe County 30,000.
Right, but that would be the first time.
Is that right, Mike? Isn't that how you understand it? Do you understand what's going on here?
Well, roughly, I thought we had a reserve carried forward, which we don't, that's the only part I'm confused on.
Yeah, I mean, that, we should know that.
yeah,
That reserve carried forward wasn't carried forward because that money was applied to the cyber 50.
Oh, okay, we used it already.
Okay, so we
we've
always
made
use it.
sure we've used the money, we've made sure, like, so I've had to switch years and we've done everything like that the last little while, so it's just up to this 2023 grant right now.
Because even to finish Cyber Route 15, infrastructure contributed money to that project. Not Trails Committee money, it was infrastructure money to get that project in.
Thank you.
So,
We appreciate it.
so you can pay it back. But I don't want to get into that, but that money was used to fund the completion of that project because we finally got.
Because we were
that
over.
And it came over budget.
So the 30,000 at Simcoe County is the 30,000 that they gave us, the grant that we were successful in getting for 2023, that is still sitting there.
Well, they don't give us the money until we
No,
actually.
I know,
finish the
but that's
project.
money
We got
that
approval.
we have approval for.
We have approval to spend, basically, you have approval from the county to spend it, it went on to the budget. And every budget was slashed, and so the only project that was budgeted for this year was that, which we've had that conversation here, was the trail that goes from the casino to Airport Road. And then you also have some of the other Simcoe County, which is the gates and some of the signage that you're getting redone as well.
That's not connecting communities money.
Nope, that's the other fund,
That's the
the
other,
sport
so we're
enhancement,
talking about connecting communities money.
that's right, so
So
for
that
this.
30,000 grant has been approved and it's there for us to match.
That's right, we just don't have the funds to match.
And it is scheduled to be used on Ramara Road.
Exactly,
So what we're talking about, just so we're absolutely clear, is doing that now and trying to get the municipality, we're not gonna bother with Simcoe County and Rama to come up with $30,000 so that we can go ahead and do that.
that's what the discussion is, yes.
So do we all understand that?
And whatever the results are, we go back to council, and either ask them for 15 or 30. If they turn both down, then that project's dead for this year and we deal with it some other time.
That's right.
Okay.
Yep.
So what we're going to do then. Dana and David, I guess, are going to go and talk to Evelyn And
No, I'm gonna go and talk to Zach
says
and
I,
ask Zach to call Evelyn as a favor to get this done this week. To
okay,
throw the idea around if they're even interested.
don't, so you don't think would be good, Dana, if you talk to Evelyn as well, or to?
I was willing to be in that meeting too. She lives around the corner, so I mean,
The problem with the meeting is, I don't know if we need a meeting, we need to throw the idea around.
yeah,
And I think we can get that done.
Yeah.
I'm hoping Zach will do it for you today.
yeah, I think it'll be faster if it's just a phone call.
Okay,
At that stage.
okay.
Where does Evelyn actually live?
What?
Oh, she's on the switcher, us in the corner.
Where people live.
What?
Let's not talk about where
Oh, yeah,
people live.
sorry, okay.
Or being recorded.
Yes.
The only caveat to
All
that,
right, my apologies.
Evelyn might need to go to the band to get permission.
Yeah, well, she obviously will,
Yeah.
but we're gonna throw it around.
It'd be interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, she has to support it in order to
Yes.
get
To
approval,
pitch it,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
They might just say we wanna finish the casino part, worry about something
Mhm.
else next year, so.
Mhm.
But that's it.
but I think Zach needs to make it clear that there's $30,000 that was granted to us that needs to be spent, or we're not gonna have it. It has to be matched.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we need a motion on this discussion?
Yes, please.
Yes? Okay,
The motion maybe, that's basically that staff will speak with Rama about financially contributing to the trail reconstruction off of Rama Road.
I'm sure we already did a motion like that, but
Yeah,
and David will approach council to see if they are interested in matching as well.
Well, no, we're
that's
waiting
a,
for the-
yeah, staff
we're waiting-
report, let's wait for that part, and then a staff report would have to go in order to ask for any money.
on May 27th, if everything works out right, we should be asking council for $15,000 or $30,000. And council will vote if we can get that.
Do we need a motion for that?
I don't.
Not
think so.
yet. I would wait until we're at that point.
We won't be having another meeting.
That's
No, but I
right.
can't decide what goes on the agenda anyways. I have to, the mayor is the one who decides what goes on the agenda, so, or the clerk and the
So
mayor.
that's why I think a staff report would
Yeah.
have to be done afterwards, after that, if decision gets made, after staff talks to Rama First Nation, staff will then have to write a report with requesting on behalf of the Trails Committee, those funds, whether it is 30, 20, 10, 5,
And
whatever.
so
that
it
number
doesn't
is.
need to be a motion from us.
No, staff report would just have to come following that discussion.
Okay. Any other questions on that item? Wow, okay, thank you. Moving forward then to the other part of this
Yeah.
grant. So Ashley, back to you.
So this grant, which might be something for 2025, so we would have to spend the money up until December of 2025. So thinking of what you would may want to spend that on. Josh provided some information and he can speak more about that in regards to basically looking at like asset management.
So there's been some updates to inspection of structures within the township. Typically, it was just roads and bridges within municipal right of ways. It is now being applied to trails, so basically anything that is a township asset has to be biannually inspected if it's over a 3-meter span. It's
3
called-
meters?
Yes, so it's called an OSM inspection. The red flag came up as soon as they said trails, because both of our bridges in Lagoon City are truck beds that are not engineered, that will not pass an inspection. So if it doesn't pass, the bridges essentially become condemned and have to be removed. So the $100,000 may be the option, because it's gonna have to be an engineered bridge that goes in these ways.
How much time have we got?
I just did the OSM this year, so 2026.
It'll be 2025, right? Because they were 2023 inspections.
Or sorry, yes, 2025. Next year. So the only other way is if we can get an engineer to certify those bridges. Okay. I don't know if they will.
How much is the bridge to replace it?
The pedestrian bridge in Lagoon City, and we looked at doing Bailey Bridge, it was been $1 million. So a 3 meter span, your property, I'm doing 2 box culverts right now. One's about $1.5 million, the other one's $500,000. So we're probably looking minimum $500,000.
So you're bringing this up at this point because you're wondering if this money can be used for that instead?
That grant might be able to go towards that.
Right, but then now you've got but if we take that 30,000, we match it 30,000.
So this is up to 100,000 for 2025.
All right, so now, and we have to match it.
That's right, so 100,000 would go in the budget.
We're not gonna get 100,000 from council.
Well, you got 80,000 this year and now you're requesting either 15 or 30, so then you're gonna be looking. So what's,
Well, that would be on top.
that's,
But, okay, even if we got it, it's a long ways away from completing the bridge.
Excuse me, we got 80,000 this year,
yeah, wasn't it that 80 that we got this year?
I thought it was 30.
40,
It's
40,
40.
Oh, it's
40 was
40 with the grant?
and then 30 matched, if we, well, depending what we apply for.
The total budget was 80.
The total, because we did the matching.
So, because
4,000, yeah, we have
Simcoe County.
47,500 is what we had.
So Simcoe County matched 40 this year, or, right? Right. No.
They only go up to 30.
Yeah, so the township gave you 47,500.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, So that's what the township gave us for this year. So now this, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 is what we're applying for right away. That runs through 2024 to be spent by the end of 25.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's good to start thinking of something for 2025 that you can budget for.
So if we were to apply for the 100,000, the township has already given us 40.
Well, it would have to be budgeted for that year. So yes, they've given us 40, but that's budgeted for this year.
For this year.
So
So really, this $100,000 is something that we would get in 25. and
Yes.
It would be budgeted for. in
Exactly.
25.
That's what you would have to look at.
yeah, so like if you're thinking the 40,000 you got this year to put in reserves to cover that for next year, you can't because that money's already going towards projects.
My next question is, no, I won't ask the question. I think this, first of all, bridges is one thing, and it sounds like horrendous to me. That I think we need to talk about over a period of time to figure out how we're gonna deal with that. Cause this is crazy. We're walking over these bridges and riding bicycles.
Yeah, but the snowmobile club's putting room.
Yes, that's right.
So, and then when
So-
we're brushing or doing any maintenance work, or putting gravel on it, there is a better. Theoretically, there should be. So they do still have to be engineered to carry the loads. Yes, it is a reduced load because it's not constant live vehicular traffic. There could be some savings that way. It wouldn't have to be engineered to the same degree. But I've never had a bridge designed to a lower degree because I've always been doing it for
Traffic.
roads. Yeah.
And we've never put, snowmobile puts the rumor over.
No, but even if you look at Lagoon City with the pedestrian bridge, the estimated rehabilitation for that for this year was 800,000. Yes, it did come in under budget, it was just under 400,000. But that's a rehabilitation. To put in a whole new one, the Bailey Bridge was about $1 million. The span's much bigger, and there was different abutments because we had to get the height over the canal. There's all kinds of different factors, so some of them could be as simple as putting in a culvert. If they get bigger, it's a box culvert. If it's a large span, you're a bridge. So
in order to, we need an engineer's report. The other issue that we really want to move forward with is various permissions to continue trail development. And that's really, really important. As we all know.
yeah,
So, I mean, I feel we should be applying for a rescue committee. Which one do you think we should apply for? Tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3? I have my opinion, but maybe I want to hear from you guys first.
But you gotta align a project to each one of those, right? So. I always go for the higher one, but I'm not sure what the project is. The bridges is fine, but we're never gonna cover the cost of those bridges with this.
Yeah, that sort of seems like a roads kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
coming into the trails stuff.
there's no road going in.
No, I know. The whole bridge thing.
It's the provincial government, it's an Ontario inspection agency.
They gotta step up, think something.
Well, the theory is it's still a structure. Yes, it does support a smaller load, but it still is a structure and there always is liability to it. So. If a truck goes down the Lagoon City Trail for some odd reason and it tries to cross the bridge because it does look like a road. And it goes through, there's that liability. So.
Would we still have that liability if we did nothing with that?
Yeah. The bridge would be condemned and it has to be.
Oh, okay.
As soon as a bridge is deemed condemned, and you don't remove it, you're 100%.
All right.
Any other suggestions on tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3? Steve?
I just want to make sure I've got this clear. So the funding for the bridge rehabilitation reconstruction is coming through the committee's budget?
Which, where I was, no, so I was referring to Lagoon City just for financials. It's nothing to do with the committee, it was just strictly, this is how much that rehabilitation cost in Lagoon City. Are you talking about the bridge on the Lagoon City Trail?
Any other bridges on the trails that have to be done? Are you saying they need to be funded through the Trails Committee?
It's a trail, so it would be, like, even though it's a trails committee, that it's a trails budget. So. Yes.
Yeah, see, that kind of thing to me seems like more of a capital project that.
Yeah, but all trails are like we put in a new trail, Side Road 15, that's a capital project.
Right.
We do a resurfacing on a trail, it's a capital project. These are all capital projects. The maintenance is the only thing that isn't a capital project.
Right, but our little committee with our little budget is going to be hard pressed to provide the funding for this. shouldn't more of the funding be from the municipality?
The funding for the Trails Committee is the municipality. It's
Right,
also.
right. I understand that, but our budget is relatively small.
Yeah, and that's something that would have to be looked at the time when a bridge needs to be replaced, or that budget would have to increase for that if the township decided they wanted to keep that trail open.
How many bridges do we have?
It's two.
There's three bridges on the Lagoon City Trail. The sixth concession, and
Yes.
then two right, right inside the
Oh, okay.
Lagoon Park.
Yeah, I knew the six. I thought there was only one.
I think I know what Steve is sort of saying though, like, does this mean that we would similarly be on the hook for segments of a trail that's on the road, right? That's not a separate trail, but it just shares the road. So does that mean that if that road would need work, that the Trails Committee is on the hook for it? No,
Because it's a segment of that road.
okay,
So if I came in and put a road down concession 6, it would be under that road capital project. Because there's no road, it's a trail. It falls under the trails.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
Well, I don't think we've made a decision here, have we?
Well, no, I'm just asking, do you have a question or a
Well,
comment?
I would just, my comment would be if we don't have enough to finish between Rammer, Longford Mills and the camp, then let's finish that project next year.
So that's another part that I had on here. We could just cancel the 2023 and reapply in 2024 and ask for some money, for extra money, because we could go under the $50,000. So matching 50 to 50 is $100,000 then to spend, and we could do a bit more.
I think 30 this year and 30 next year. The only concern I have is whether or not you'd rather have it spent on other projects, but I don't see us spending, I don't know what other projects we have to do. I mean, if we complete the casino this year and we complete the halfway on that trail on the side of the road, and next year we complete the other half up to the camp, I would say that that's a pretty good
That's pretty
achievement.
good. Yeah, I agree.
However, our top priority has always been the Lagoon City Trail.
Yeah, but you can't talk about that in this meeting.
So we just need to remember,
Or we go into a closed session and talk to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
we can do that then. But what I would say at this point, that if we can deal with the 30,000 that's been granted and is available through Simcoe County, if we can do that and spend it on the shovel-ready project, we do it. Moving forward, I think, do we have to decide on a project if we go for the 100,000?
Not today.
No. but
Sorry,
We don't have to decide today.
we do have to decide today
We have to decide, don't we? 'Cause
Yes,
you
that's
got-
why
You
I
gotta
have to
send it in
apply
on
for it.
Friday. Yeah.
This week.
it's due Friday. So yes,
Yeah.
it wasn't open very long and they were back and forth. They didn't know what they were doing. So it just came out. It's only open from April 29th until Friday. So it was such a short window. And the county didn't know what they were wanting to do.
I don't, sorry.
Can we go into closed session for a few minutes now to discuss that 100,000?
Give me a second to do break rooms. 1 sec.
just while we're waiting to be clear, we can only choose one of the tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3.
Yep.
And right now we're looking at the tier, what's a 30?
And no, there is no 30. It's
Okay.
15, 50, or 100.
I don't think.
Hundred and.
You need to come up with 100.
We gotta come up with 100.
Just a moment.
Let's say it's 80, then it's
I
like
think.
maximum up to 100, I should say.
Yeah,
We're still.
well, we're not talking about the other one. We're
Yeah, you
talking
have to,
about.
You
What
can
the
spend
funding
up
is.
to 100, spend up to 50, and spend up to 15.
Yeah.
So just keep that. 39 to,
all for close.
hello,
We're
everyone.
good to go. for live.
So we live?
Yeah, we're back live.
Okay. So I need a motion, someone to move that.
Council, or the committee rise and report from closed session at 12 p.m.
At 12 p.m. Move it, Dana, seconder, Mike. All in favor of the motion? Harry. Okay, moving now, just to finish this, the tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. So, yeah, I hear you say, Ashley, that if we asked for the maximum, we could spend up to the maximum.
Yep, it's up to 100,000. So let's say in the end, it's 150,000 we spent, so 75 and 75.
So I still think that that might be the wise way to move.
I agree.
And what would it be on?
What project you're gonna work on?
Well, there's finishing the Laguna Trail, hopefully, and there's finishing the 15th Side Road screenings. So no screenings put on, so it's hard to line. And also, I think there's going to be a need for culverts flooding in that area.
Now, would you think of that as maintenance or as that a major infrastructure, like construction project?
Well, it would be more than maintenance. Because
But if it's more than maintenance and capital, we need permits. So we're gonna maintain the culvert. And the flooding,
so that's maintenance.
I'd say so.
Okay, so we can. The maintenance is part of that, right?
Maintenance is up to 15,000.
Okay, but it can't be part of the 100,000.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
no maintenance is part of the 100,000.
So, I guess it could be doing the rest of the rail trail,
Yes.
so that would be part. And then,
And because with that, your large undertaking, AODA compliance, you can put it through that.
okay, and it could be the bridge in the building of the trail on the 9th concession. Which would be expensive. You don't, wait, is that
Yep,
make sense to you, Ashley?
so it's either concession road 9 or the rail trail.
You only do one
And
thing.
do that project.
But is that shovel ready, or just doesn't have to be shovel ready?
Well, it's just, we have to have at least, how much is it gonna be?
I mean, aren't we a long ways away?
Wow.
For concession 9.
No.
Maybe I'm not,
You need to
maybe I'm not
design-
sure
you
what
need to
concession
design a
is.
bridge.
We need engineers.
For concession 9, there's major work to go into. The trail section will be easy enough, but it's that bridge, so
So we go, bridge would be the first thing. Okay.
it'd be in combination with the trail.
So you think that's a bad idea?
Well, no, I don't think I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I mean, there's a lot of work involved with the concession. I haven't even looked at mapping to see if it's within the LSRCA catchment area. If it is, the whole project has to be easy.
Okay.
So-
Any other ideas?
Another thing you can look at is updating your active transportation plan.
Well, I mean, I tend to feel that we have a plan in place that we haven't completed. So why would we spend more money on another plan?
was just a suggestion.
Just a
Yeah.
suggestion, getting community feedback on what they want. The community has changed quite a bit after COVID. People want to be outdoors more, so maybe it'll be a little bit of a different perspective that you get as a committee. And even members of council and staff kind of moving forward as we developed and looking at the future. They're doing the rec master plan this year. So it could be something that follows that similarly, what that was done in 2010.
I think we have so many projects on the go, we should just keep the money for gravel and maintenance, or not maintenance, construction and as I'm gonna go back to my original point, I think we should do whatever trail we can this year with the help of, we either go back to council for 15 or 30. If we're going to that and concession 9, I can see that turning into like a $2 million project.
So we can look at the Ramara Road Trail and just keep extending that.
The other thing is I'm working with CN to try to get the tracks that go between Airport Road and Longford Mills as a start. We finish that, the next days.
Yeah, and we've also talked about, because we're not gonna get the rail trail to Shago, putting a trail along with Rammer Road up into the Shago.
We're not gonna get it yet.
Yeah.
As Larry said, we may not be around, but I mean, it will be a trail one day.
Once we
For
get.
you young kids to use.
Yeah, so like, I mean, my perspective has kind of changed on trails for wandering around versus point A to point B, safe transportation. That's sort of my thinking now. And sort of my thinking on Ramona. Even switched the other day, I came over the blind hill and almost hit somebody walking on the side of the road. It was like, oh geez.
So you support the Rammer Road Trail to get that continue
Yes.
working?
Mhm.
Well, I mean, I of course support that too.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, Lagoon City is a very frustrating issue that somehow needs to be dealt with.
Just feels very awesome.
I don't know if you guys wanna just take a vote to see if everybody's in favor of Rammer Road resurfacing.
As opposed to,
Anything else?
Anything.
Anything else, yeah.
you see, the other issues connecting to the Rammer Center, the Rammer Center.
Yeah, it's all over.
Can we list more than one thing?
Well,
The projects that we're working on.
it does say projects within it. Projects may include
I know, you can't approve you can't apply for funding on a project that's not, that we don't have concessions from landowners, or we don't even have
Yeah.
council approval.
it's best to just stick with one.
Yeah, and those other ones could be future years. So like next year, we could have money set aside for land acquisition outside of the grant systems. And then the following year, do the construction. So make it a multi-year approach versus all in one.
Think about what you want to do over the next 4 years.
Okay, so any other comments from committee? Paul?
Does that 100,000 all have to be spent in 1 year?
It has to be spent by the 2025.
And the township would have to match it.
Exactly. So December 19th, 2025, and then council would have to match that for the 2025 budget. So that goes to, they start discussing budget usually by September, October.
But they'd have to put up the other equal 100,000.
Exactly.
Any other comments? You make that sound like it's a long shot, Paul.
Well, I don't know.
Oh. Well. Active transportation is a big thing, you know, and safety is a big thing. And it costs money to get this done.
So are we good to proceed? And
I think, could I have someone, would someone like to move a motion that we apply for the $100,000
To go where?
and put it toward the Ramara Trail?
I'll move that.
Dana will second it. All in favor of that motion?
Sorry, what Ramara Trail are you referring to? The one we were just talking about?
Rammer Road Trail.
Ramara Road Trail.
So originally we were talking about going back to council with 15 or 30.
yeah,
This is,
for the rest of it,
This is
we'll,
the
that's only
balance.
just a small chunk of all
Oh,
of
I
it.
see, okay, gotcha.
Just
Yeah.
finishing.
So just completing it, so if we do get some work done this year, then next year it could be even more.
Yeah, this could be from where we finish off down to Longford, or it can be from the camp.
And it's up to, so if we only get 30 or 50 from council, then
Yeah.
It's only up to.
all in favor of the motion? Carried. Okay. Thank you. I knew that was going to be. Can we move along now with going back to the agenda? Can I have someone move that the committee adopt the Ramara Trails Committee agenda dated May the 15th, 24?
Mike, one will move.
Mike, seconder, Dana. Item number, all in favor of the motion? Carried. Item number 3, that the committee adopt the Ramara Trails Committee meeting minutes dated April 17th as presented. A mover? Paul, a seconder, Dave. Item number 4, financial report, Mike.
I think we've covered.
Yeah, I think
We've discussed this for the last hour and a half.
Would you move the,
I move that we receive this report.
yes, a seconder? Steve, all in favor? Carried. Item number 5.1, the Atherley Trail. David, or no, Paul.
Really no updates, nothing. I see Josh has fixed a couple of the gates, which look fine. He straightened the posts on the north side of the boundary line and put a lock on the gates at the Rammer Road. So other than that, everything looks fine.
Thank you. The Washago Trail. Steve,
The gate that is on the east side of Donor Drive, was that funded by Trails Committee? Did we pay for that gate?
Correct, yeah.
It's a real eyesore. It's a real mess. The vertical posts aren't vertical anymore. The posts are rusted. It's not locked, which is not here or there in terms of trails. But if we paid for that, and I can't imagine why the company has their advertising on it, because it just looks horrible. I think
So-
David and were we there?
Yeah,
Yeah, we were there. We all took a look at it, and yeah, it's an eyesore. It's a mess. And if we're paying for it, then it should be done properly.
Yeah, so that's one of the ones we've had Johnson Svensson come in 3 times already to do repairs.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, we're gonna remove it. We're going to excavate, we're gonna anchor to the bedrock. The reason they're falling over is I think they're only 18 inches deep
oh,
because you get into bedrock.
Yeah.
And you have permission to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
So the gates are locked, but because they're so shallow, the whole post is spinning with the lock.
Yeah.
So over the next few weeks, we're hoping to get out there. We just got a lot on the go right now in infrastructure
Sure.
with spring, so.
Okay.
I come in and go home that way, so when they're open, I close them on my way through. I was looking at welding a bracket on the bottom of it to anchor them open or closed.
Yeah.
But because we're going to pin it to the bedrock, there's no point to do the welding on it at this point, so.
Right. Okay.
I guess it doesn't make sense to attach them to the posts that were there, big posts.
It's a different post, so.
Will they be new posts that we put in? Are they gonna do with those rusty old things?
It has to be longer if you're gonna.
We gotta figure out exactly how we can pin it to the bedrock first, so. The ones that are rusted are part of the physical gate, it's not part of the post. So the way that one was designed, you got the post and it's just sleeved over with a lock through it.
Yeah.
So what is rusting is part of the gate, not the post. So we could just flop it, so the rusted is on backside. But we can look at galvanizing it possibly too.
So like none of the ones in the good city are rusted. Seems funny that.
Because they're stainless. And there's no salt. On the ones there.
Thank you, Steve. And I guess
Yeah, one more thing.
Yeah.
First of all, thanks, Josh. Thanks for that. A landowner is using the trail that runs from South River Road as access to his property. I reported a concern. I sent a picture in. In addition to eroding the trail, it's a safety issue as well.
What's he using it for?
Access.
Access. There was a van. There's a van parked there. He just uses from South River. He uses it to get. I don't know if he's moving materials in to his property, but the van was parked there, and it was the only way he could get in was from the trail.
Yeah, part of the Simcoe County grant was to put a gate there. So a gate will be going on South River Road.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. I had a phone call, Steve, from Howard Hamilton.
Mhm.
And apparently there's a bag of garbage on the part of the public access, the Ramara access that he uses as a lane, the trail part.
Okay.
And he doesn't know how it got there. I wonder, could you make sure it gets picked up?
Or you can just put in a report of concern. Construction.
Yeah, that's such a. Thank you, Josh. Could you pick it up, Josh? Apparently it's not that big. Or Steve?
I can go take a look.
Yeah, it's on the part that he drives in to where our trail starts. I understand. If there's a problem with that, Steve, give me a call.
Yeah, I'll get there next couple of days. I'll check it out. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Bayshore, Kathy isn't here, but I don't think there's anything new. There was something on the signage that in the minutes. Did the signs get?
Oh, Orkney Beach, yeah,
They're removed. And other sign, no signs put up.
there's no signs there.
Question.
Oh, yes?
I'm getting residents who are concerned that they're hearing rumors, I guess, that, oh, it's not gonna be trail, it's gonna be a road, can we get confirmation from anybody that it's a trail?
Well,
There is it's a trail.
Okay,
It is a trail, isn't it?
It's a trail.
Yeah, it's a trail.
okay.
But part of it is driveway, so part of it is gonna have to be easy.
Right,
So there's a small section on the
been doing a lot of work on that site right now too.
So,
Jose?
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
On
because
Fountain,
it's all part of
that's
the
right.
consent.
yeah.
So. Yeah, the section between Fountain and Orkney.
Yeah.
Orkney Beach. There's a small section there that will remain a small trail.
Mhm.
But the majority of that section through the property is now going to be municipal road for driveway access for those.
So as long as they can't drive a car through, that's all I
Once
wanna
they
know.
can't get through, yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
mean, I guess if we needed to, we could put a gate.
yes, the plan is similar to the emergency access to Bayshore Village.
Yeah.
For maintenance purposes and emergency purposes.
And that gate would probably go in the middle, sort of, somewhere.
I'd be looking to get a pickup through there.
But I mean, it would go in the middle of the total access. So that people could drive in from each end to get to the driveways. But they couldn't drive through.
right, so the people on the new property, severed lots, they would access it from Orkney Beach Road,
Yeah,
that's
it's
the,
not
okay,
Fountain.
got it, okay. Yeah, because that's, I guess, with the resurfacing that you're set to do on Fountain, that was a concern when you're.
It's done.
It's done now,
I just got
okay,
it slurry,
nice, okay,
so. Be this grass section.
right.
There will be a road and ditches put through,
Mhm.
just for the flow. access.
Right, right, okay, thank you for explaining that, it was a bit.
Okay, anything else on Bay Shore? Moving on to Lagoon City Trail. I mentioned that just so you know, not that I expect this to happen. The water on the on the new part we did on the 15th sidewalk. It's pretty much gone now, but it was, and we need to put screenings on eventually, but that's just to make everybody aware. And the gates, twice now, the gates, the one at the 6th and the one at the boatyard have been pushed open. I closed them, I put them back. It's only happened twice. Most people obey the sign and aren't interfering. I think we should at the moment just leave it the way it is. And I'm up there regularly. I think if we fix them, then they might hook their four-wheelers on and break them, if we secure them so they can't open them, they'll maybe find a way anyway. So we'll see if it's not happening very often, so we'll see what happens. How that goes.
You see these hunting cameras that work off of the internet and like they're powered by solar. Can we not throw a couple up in the bush that nobody knows?
You get into privacy issues if you try to prosecute from them.
We could have a speaker in there. In today's time, look it up.
We could use your voice.
We looked at them for other instances and we've inquired with the police on if we can use it to prosecute, and it comes back to privacy issues. So,
I won't even get into it. I just know like 90% of the businesses today have security cameras.
yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I think that's everything for item 5.1. Unless there's something on social media or special features. I'm aware of. Up to the grants, my goodness, we've done. Any other unfinished business? Oh, I had one. I don't know who this is for, but the invasive species, how is that being moved forward?
The grant?
Well, the discussion around the grant or whether there wasn't, it was in the minutes.
That's right, and so what the minutes had was that staff applied for a grant and looked at creating somehow of like almost like a report of concern tool where they can identify like areas where phragmites would be.
Okay, so it's in staff's hands.
That's
And mapping it, wasn't it mapping?
Yeah,
part of it?
and
Yes.
from those concerns, then you can map it, and then Lagoon City Parks and Waterways has like a part to it within that, so
And then we'll wait for that report to come back.
it's coming back as a report. But that's what
perfect.
I suggest.
Anything else?
You wanna talk about your hike through the swamp?
Of course I do. Real quickly, regarding the Athabasca Trail, Mike,
Garnaska Trail. Yeah,
the what?
Garnaska Trail.
Gardens?
Yeah, it was not the Athabasca, it was Garnaska. Yeah. Yeah.
Mike, Charlotte, Paul, and I went for a wonderful walk down the 13th side road, believing Josh that it had been open, trucks had fixed it for a road.
There is one. Actually, I said I would do that.
Anyway, you can pick it up from there, Mike.
It was very wet. And then I went, the other day, I went the other way from where we parked, and
Okay.
it was even wetter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah, so, we did a lot of sloshing through the swamps.
Yes, most of it was big puddles that could be filled.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
there is a wetland and a water course that would need a couple of big culverts or a bridge or something. A good bit of it is what you said, the trucks be going.
A lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so it's, you could go on about a kilometer on road, sort of, that you could almost drive. a car.
yeah, a little more than a kilometer, yeah,
And then you get the
Did they
problem.
come in 169 side or side of 5 side?
Side road 5 sides,
Mhm.
and I walked from 169.
Yeah.
And didn't get that far, got pretty wet.
And my guess is the 12th side road it's likely the same wetland. that
Yeah,
runs
and
right
it's not
down.
clear either.
Yeah.
So,
So regardless of what happens there.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm wondering is, can we go ahead with the grant money and sign?
so I've inquired with the county. I haven't got a decision yet
Okay,
because of the traffic amount on 46 and not really having much of a shoulder. They want to run it by me.
okay.
So,
I would think that if we're able to do it, that we would do the 12th side road out to 169 and then south. Because it's just closer. Now we go across the 11th. We could do the 11th, but then you come out right at the curve. It's a bit of a bend there. Looks a little dangerous. Where it hits, where the 11th hits,
concession comes up, concession 11 runs into 46.
or into 46, okay. So then you just follow 46.
And again, even our section 46, it's
Very good. Yeah.
it's narrow and it's high speed.
Okay, so it's better to walk to the 13th and then cross. Sorry.
Yeah, so across Fair Valley 13.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. But it was interesting to do that. It gets really challenging, for sure.
It was pretty wet.
And nobody fell in,
No.
not even Paul.
No, lots of black bites, so.
Oh,
Yeah.
Anything else? Could I have a motion for adjournment?
Mike, final move.
Money, Dave, done. Have a good weekend, everyone.